The scissors. Cutting connections. I am guilty of that. I really am. It's a shame because I never thought I would be someone like that, especially the way that I've gone about it, because let's face the facts here. We become friends with people and we change. We become different people and we're no longer connected with them. And it has to end because it's toxic. And it can be done so peacefully to say, oh, I'm sorry, I don't think we're a right fit anymore. We should just end this. But usually it's just stop talking. And I am guilty because that is how I've ended connections before. And I feel bad about it because I realize that's not the best thing to do, especially with like close friends that I've had. I have abandoned, quite a few friendships that I've had. But in my defense, I at the very least, okay, a lot of the connections that I had that were not like super personal, like very close friendships, like more like friendships that have been more like surface level, like perhaps just on online friends, people I've never actually met before, or maybe if I have met them, it's just been very, very brief. Um, Usually with me, back then, I was going through a lot of personal problems, such as my own mental health issues. So I actually became very suspicious and paranoid of those people. I became very nervous that they were doing things behind my back. They were manipulating me. They were doing all these horrible things. So it's like, I just can't communicate with them anymore. So I started like acting weird, acting strange, and then all of a sudden I'm just gone. So to me, it's mostly been a mental health problem for people in the past, but not always. Not always. There have been other friends that I guess to some degree, I guess to all degrees, all the friendships that I have lost, there has been some sort of mental health aspect to it. I'm just thinking about a few others where it's like I'm thinking that they're like controlling me in some sort of way, and it's like I can't allow them to do that. I have to end it. So I guess this to some degree, it is all mental health for me. Hmm. But I'm not able to communicate with them. I'm not. That's the bad thing. I end up feeling really bad about how I have ended connections, how I've ended friendships, especially closer friendships. And, I guess, for the most part, I guess when I'm done with a friendship, I usually don't reach back out to that person for the most part. I mean, I probably have done it maybe one or twice, or I've thought about it, but there's always something that ends up stopping me. So for me, it's usually always best if the other person reaches out to me, which has happened a few times actually. Happened a few times. But connections that I've ended or have ended, it's like I've wanted to reach out, but it's like something stops me from doing it. It really does. Because there would be a few people that perhaps not necessarily even that I have ended the connection, but they have ended the connection where I'd be like, I'd be interested to know what that person is doing now. Like what are they up to in their own life? Because we were close. You know, so it's just a shame that that's how it is. So I guess if I would reach out to anyone, it would be I don't know how I would really do it. I don't know how I would really phrase it. I really don't. Um, I guess with like very very close friends, like I have like reached out online before, or I have sent like a letter in the mail as well. I've done that a few times with friends. Just it's like, oh, I don't know. There's no way I can contact you now, or I don't know if any of your information's the same, but I know that you live at the same place, so I'm going to send you a letter in the mail. Maybe you will reach out to me, maybe you won't, but it doesn't matter. I think that is the biggest thing. Whenever I do those sort of things, it's almost like a closure for myself. Because if I ended things bad, I feel bad, so I want some level of closure. I want to be able to say that I am deeply, deeply sorry for the things that I've done, the way that I ended it. And, we don't have to be friends at all. It's like, that's not what I'm going to ask for. I'm just going to say, I just hope that everything goes well in your own life. And just know that I'm very sorry for the way that I ended things. So I think that's probably the best thing. If you're trying to beg someone to be your friend, it's not going to be good. So I don't do that. I really don't. Just being able to, I guess, catch up on someone would be very interesting. Seeing what they're doing in their life now, to be friends with that person again. But I also factor in, am I compatible with that person now? Because I'm completely different. I'm completely different. I don't know if they're completely different, but I'm a completely different person. Perhaps we're not compatible anymore. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. But as I've mentioned, also, I have had friends who have just abandoned me, who have stopped talking with me, and there have been a few who have just suddenly reached back out after many, many years, and it's shocking. It's very, very shocking. It's like, I was not expecting to ever hear from you again. It's like all of a sudden you're just back. You're just back. And it's often because they feel bad about the way that they ended the connection, because they ended it with just sudden stop talking. So they end up feeling bad. They reach back out. But I've noticed with most of them who have reached back out, who ended things the first time, they end up ending it the same way again. It's kind of funny, actually. So it's like they end the connection the first time because whatever the case is within their own life, and then they end up feeling bad. Like, oh, I shouldn't have ended it the way that I did. I was going through so much in my life. Well, now they're at a better place. They're a bit more stable. They reach back out. They feel bad. They mention that to me. We're talking for a little bit, maybe like a few weeks or months or so, and then all of a sudden, gone again. And I'm like, hmm. But I do notice with everyone who has reached back out like that, we're not on the same level anymore. Sometimes it's been like for one person, it was many, many years since I last spoke with them. We we actually were still very similar. And we connected as if like we never left it off. It was just like that. It's like, oh, we're like still friends and everything. But then they, do the same thing. But then with another person, it was a completely different experience where when I first met them, we were very, very connected. Like we shared the same ideas and beliefs, and we like had like the same jokes and everything. And then when we reconnected, this was actually only a few months, like half a year, maybe like 6 to 10 months or so, somewhere in that time frame. They just reach back out, and then I don't feel that connection with them anymore. And they're like completely different. It's like I really don't want to talk with you anymore. I'm not interested in being your friend anymore because you're not the same person that I was friends with before. I'm very different now, and you're very different now, but in a way that I don't like. So it's kind of like I really, I don't know. But regardless, these are just things that have happened to me and then I feel bad about, and I really wish I was able to reach out to people. But I know that there's some friends that's like, I don't know how to reach out to them. I don't know how to contact them. And I'm not going to do so publicly. I'm not. I'm not going to, reach out to them in any public forum or a public setting and say, hey, you know? So I usually like that to be a private matter. So, but there's been things that have stopped me as well from doing that. I have cut the cord in a way that perhaps I shouldn't have. So that's just my experience. Feel free to share your own experience when it comes to people you have had to let go. Because it is good to let people go who no longer serve you. But if you feel bad about it, you got to come to terms with that yourself, because you're constantly going to beat yourself up about it, especially if there's no way you can actually apologize to that person. So now I realize, it's not good what I've done. So I feel guilty and I feel bad. And I'm learning to not do that anymore. So thank you so very much for watching. Feel free to share your own experiences. I'm curious to hear them. So take care. Bye bye.